rocking. I be rocking to that sound. That's really fun.
Hola,
Welcome, everyone.
What's going on? What's going on?
Oh man, what a week! This week went by so fast. I cannot believe it's already Thursday. I had a crazy week this week, but it wasn't really that crazy. But I had a situation that happened to me. I'm gonna tell you about it in a second. But
Okay.
yeah, it was a good week. How was your week?
It was. It felt like one long day because I'm trying to figure out. I did stuff on Thursday and Friday of last week to prepare for this week, and then time just overtook, and I never got to do some of those things. So it's like today, like I was running around all day up until the point where I was like, oh, let me schedule this live, and I was just like, I had to go to the store. So hair's not done. So this is what you guys are getting today. But other than that, overall, I can say the week was blessed. I do have a funny thing to tell you though. I woke up this morning and, I like to lay my eyes on my money, multiple times a week. You know what I'm saying? I just go over and be like, I know I got so much money. Let me see what it's doing today. Anyway.
Right.
On one of my accounts, I noticed that there were 2 orders for DoorDash. One of them was like $52 and the other one was $40-something. And I'm like, who the fuck orders that much DoorDash from, I'm about to tell you these places, and I'm so ashamed because McDonald's and Wendy's. Who the fuck does that? So it totaled up to $100. So I was like, well, I know I didn't do that shit. I just can't get past paying extra money for McDonald's. Like the fries are going to be dead by the time they get there.
Absolutely.
And so I said, okay. So I hit up your nephew and I'm like, $100 worth of DoorDash, my nigga. So these are the things that we didn't have to worry about stuff like this when we were younger. Like we didn't have DoorDash, we had pizza delivery people, but it wasn't this serious. Like they got to worry about all of these different things. Now, what happened was it was late at night a couple of nights ago, and he did call me and say that he wanted to know if he could order some food. He said he wanted to know if he could go to McDonald's, he can get some McDonald's. And I was like, sure, you have the card, so go ahead and, do it. I'm thinking he's going to walk into McDonald's, he's somewhere with his friends, and he going to walk into McDonald's and order the food and be fine. I'm thinking like $20 the most, because there's nothing there that he really could eat, and I knew his girlfriend probably
right.
And so he was like, oh, we ordered. And I was like, damn, these Bamas was ordering DoorDash to the campus. Like McDonald's is what you choose?
Yeah.
But it was late and it was nothing open. So I was telling him, a rule of thumb that I go by is if it's getting late, your food options are running out. So you need to make smarter decisions because there's no way, I'm sorry, I don't care how much money I got, I'm not paying $50 for no fucking McDonald's. That's just ridiculous.
But what you... Go ahead.
But so basically, he ordered the food from Wendy's, and Wendy's was closed. So they just charged him the money, and then he didn't get the food. So then McDonald's was open, and McDonald's delivered the food. I'm like, I bet they did for $50-something. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, well, I mean, he gets money every 2 weeks, and so I was like, well, I mean, you have $100 of your money now tied up in DoorDash because they give you back DoorDash credit. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, all that for 1 meal at McDonald's. Anyway, so that's how my week was. But I realized in thinking about that and laughing about it is that, I could have so many, worse problems and things that happen. So I was just, I just took that chance to just laugh about it and just realize that, damn, I have about to be 21-year-old.
Oh my God!
Making his own dumb adult decisions.
Let me just remind you of something. When I was in college, I had one of those. Oh, this is gonna date me. I had one of those Qualcomm cell phones. Okay, I was pressed for that cell phone. I think I upgraded to a flip phone. Anyway, Lord, I was pressed for this cell phone. Your father got it for me, and I wasn't paying no attention. It's like you know. It's not about paying attention. It's about hanging out with your friends.
You have this sense of safeness that's really not
everything there. Works for me. I can just press this button and I get what I want. Oh, guys, we're going to get DoorDash. What would you like? That's what happened. And it's fine because that's exactly what I would have done. And I remember having that cell phone and my best friend, Jennifer, had, and we was like, oh, yeah, because at that point it was like Sprint, you get like free minutes after like 8 or something like that.
I remember Sprint.
6. So anyway, I thought it was after 6, but apparently I just give her my phone. Yeah, call your boyfriend, call your mom, whatever. Like, sure. Like, I have a cell phone, right? And everybody didn't have a cell phone when I went to college. Like, that's how old I am, internet. When I went to college back in my day, not everybody, it wasn't common for everybody to
have and they were big as I don't know what
cell phone. A lot of my friends didn't have a cell phone. Now that I think about it, like a
lot of people didn't have computers back then. That's how we was doing the whole AOL thing or whatever.
Yeah,
everybody got a smartphone.
We had the little Ethernet hooked up in our dorm room, but like as far as like having a cell phone, like not too many people did. So I was the person with the cell phone. So it was just like, hey Faith, can I use your phone? Sure, my dad pays for it. So hopefully that's such about these because it was $800, and your father gave me a good stern talking to.
I mean, those would be the hardest ones to eat because it's like this motherfucker doesn't realize all the stuff that, you know, an adult has to be responsible for. But I'm glad that he's out there and is able to make mistakes like this. He's living the life that he's supposed to. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of mistakes that teach you, you know, oh, that's how this works or whatever.
Plus, I'll say this. He probably tipped.
You're right.
Well,
he probably overtipped.
Like, so he, you know, there's certain things that, you know, you look back on and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have spent that money on that. He might think that about that, but, you know, it's fine. Now,
let me grand scheme of things, he was able to get him and his girlfriend dinner.
Yeah. And he was the hero. And that's a great memory right there. Like, I got you, boo, what you want? I got you.
But the good thing is, it affected me directly initially, but in the back end, it doesn't because it was actually his money. So, you know,
whichever, you know, he's gonna live and learn, but that's a hilarious story.
Of course, your mother's like, oh, does he need anything else? Like, lady, no. He just ordered $50 in DoorDash. Well, like you said, there probably was some tip and some delivery fee in there. Probably and everything. But I was like, he's not getting a fucking thing right now.
Oh my gosh.
No, but I you know, as I'm talking about it, I think that it's actually funny because, you know, like I said, that's the you know, you're in life experiencing real life adult problems, and you probably won't want to spend $50 on something like that again. I was like, y'all could have went somewhere and got something way better, but it's neither here nor there. But that's how my week has been going. Everything, you know, everything's good. Everything's good. I'm just really, really, really trying to hold myself accountable and actually follow the schedule that I set for myself. But that's neither here nor there.
That's, you know, that's just the life struggle. We're all going to be going through that for a long time, I think.
And it's almost daylight savings time. The clock.
I know we're about to lose an hour. I just realized, oh God, this has ruined my night. No, I'm joking. Let me tell you something. While we're on the topic of money, this is not even what my story is. I got to get into that because I don't want to waste too much time. But I got to say this. So we finally went through line by line and did our budget because, of course, I built a spreadsheet and it shows like which account it comes out of and all this. And then we downloaded Mint, like you said, right? And it's just we want to save more because we're in this home buying process, and it's like, you know. But we got some really good news on Monday, which I'll share after we get off this call. And then, so while we were doing the budget, we came across all of these charges we are being charged every month. Okay. Like stuff that we don't use, like Cinemax. I was getting charged for something from Uber twice. Like, and these are like $9.99, $12.99. It was something else in there it was like $15.99, and it's things that have just come off my credit card, and I don't pay attention. And then next thing you know, I'm paying the credit card bill. Like, oh yeah, the credit card bill's due. Let's pay that. You know, oh, this is due. Let's pay that. And I'm not even looking at it, and it's coming off. And so here's what I want to say to people: it's like, it's crazy how many things you could sign up for and not know it. Because a lot of those things, like either on the Fire Stick or you're on some other app, and it's like, try this for 30 days free, and you try for 30 days, and they know you're not going to remember to cancel, but when you do go to cancel, you got to go through like 15 steps.
Or you can't do it right there. You have to write a letter and send it to a
or make a phone call, and God forbid I make a phone call. I
saved so much money. I saved so much money going through subscriptions at the end of the year last year of stuff that I, like you said, I'm not even really remembering, but PicMonkey got me because I was using PicMonkey a little bit, and they had one of those trial periods or whatever, and I didn't realize it, and so they charged me the $100 and something a year, and I'm like, I'm gonna use the shit out of PicMonkey.
Yeah.
I look at it monthly now. I'd be like, let me go down. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. Let me no. So, but yeah, you gotta like. Go ahead, you gotta look for them little boxes. Uncheck this if you don't want to subscribe. I used to work for a cell phone company one time. They used to do that shit. They used to have this little fucking shit and writing down the bottom, and people would never look at that. And then they would get charged this recurring amount, and then they would all be calling and talking about their card is getting deducted and stuff like that. I was like, man. And when I quit,
that was the point, lady. You finally figured it out.
When I quit there, I remember writing this long ass email, and I sent it to everybody, and I was just like, "This is what they're doing to everybody. This is why we have to take these calls and talk to these people who are like, their accounts they're poor people, and their like accounts are being overdrawn because they only had a certain amount and they didn't see that." So, anyway. That's neither here nor there. Again, I'm off to something else.
I know that felt so good to write that email though.
And I sent it to everybody. People was talking about that show for weeks. Hey, we got your email. You sent that email, right? That was the pettiness in me back then. 22, 23-year-old me.
Look, you might have saved somebody some strife because, here's the thing. When you're doing something that you cannot, that it doesn't align with your sense of standards, it's hard to go to that job. And so if you got that off your chest and was like, here's why I'm not going to work here no more, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, let me tell you something. Like, I'm not mad at that at all. That's a win.
Oh, it's funny in retrospect, but
yeah, okay. So check this out. When these companies get your credit card, and sometimes they don't even have to get your credit cards. This is how they got me, because I would think to myself, sure, I'll do a free trial. You don't even have my credit card number, so by the time the trial runs out, it'll just cut off, and no. They either got your PayPal or your Amazon or something like that, and the junk just comes through. And PayPal and Amazon will just try every card that you have until one of them works. So it's just like they gonna get their money. And so it's like, wow, I really was, it's worth it. It took probably about 4 hours total, but to go through all of your accounts and see what's coming out on a monthly basis, like
it's a must. It's a
must. Every now and again, people, you got to do this because
you just never know. Like,
never know.
Like, okay, for instance, those DoorDash things, I would have probably not even paid attention to that had I not just been looking and seeing like, okay, well, I just always look to make sure nothing looks strange. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That money's going where it needs to go. And when I saw those, first of all, I don't do DoorDash because, like I said, I just can't get around paying extra for food. It's not even that good anyway. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, what? And then I was like, and they had the nerve to come back twice. Now, I immediately kind of thought, well, maybe that wasn't him. But then I was like,
maybe it was a scam.
Let me ask him. You know what I'm saying? Because that's happened to me before too with some Metro cards. But
yeah.
But anyway, like I said, it's something I can look and laugh at right now because it could be a whole lot worse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're blessed. Now let me tell you another one of my blessings this week, which was hilarious. I actually went to the Capitol this week because there was an event that our organization was having, and so we were down in the Capitol, and we were in the Capitol building, and people giving speeches and doing things and mingling, and we had a great time. Then we were off to dinner.
Nobody scaling the walls.
Nobody even tried. And people were making jokes about it before we went down there, like, oh, it's not like we're gonna storm the Capitol. I was like, please, guys, don't say that. They're listening. Anyway, no, but we had a great time. I left, and we were in the Uber. We were going to dinner because that's another thing that I was out with them, and they were, with my coworkers, and they were like, let's just go to dinner. It's like, sure. So we're getting we're about to get out of the Uber to go to dinner, and I like reached for my wallet, and I realized I left my wallet at the Capitol. And the thing about it is, like, I got upset for a second, because when you first really realize that, it sinks in that you no longer in possession of your wallet, and you have no idea what's in there. And
you all know, you start thinking somebody sees it and they look, it's
oh
gleaming.
My God, somebody
like,
has my wallet.
Look at me.
Someone is molesting my wallet. Like, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. So I literally, I stopped. At first I got, irritated and upset, and I was beating myself up, like, how stupid are you? Like, you left your wallet. You know what I'm saying? You're 40 years into this thing, and you're still losing your wallet. Like, you should hear the things that I say to myself, which I'm working through. Yeah, but I was like, you know what? We got there, and then everybody I was with, it was 5 of us. They were so concerned. They were, oh my gosh. The executive director of my company, she's scouring the Uber, like she's got, like, stretching, and she's looking for this, and I'm like, it's not in there, please. You know what I'm saying? So we get out of there, and they're all concerned. They're like, maybe we can go back. Maybe I was like, no. We got to the front of the restaurant. I was like, we're gonna have a nice dinner, guys. We're not gonna worry about this. I was like, let's not let this ruin our evening. And they were like, okay. And I was like, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. So we get to the dinner table, and we're having a great time. We had a bomb conversation, which I'll fill you in on later. And it came up a couple of times, right? So I had I had called the person who had put on the event, like, you know what I'm saying? And they were like, oh, we left. Like, the building is closing. Like, it was like 8 or something like that. So then the more I sat there and thought about it, I was like, this is probably the best place to lose your wallet. Nobody in that building really wants my wallet. And they're closing. And it's not like the mall where people are going to be doing something left on a Metro or in a Target or something like that, which I've done before. Not the Metro, but the Target. So then I was like, you know what? Everything's gonna be fine. And I just believed it. Like, I was just like, everything's gonna be fine. I was like, the worst thing.
I mean, because it was nothing you could do at that point physically, like, but cancel your stuff and put holes in your stuff.
I literally was like, everything's not only is everything going to be fine, but if this was meant to happen and I was meant to lose my wallet, then I'm going to learn a lesson from it and I'm going to be better. And the worst case scenario, I'll just have to replace everything that's in there. Like, nobody can, this is not going to ruin my night. That's what I had decided. And then I was like, honestly, this might be the best place to have lost it, because if somebody finds it, they're probably going to turn it in. And if I, like, anybody would be, I feel like, paranoid to like take something out of there, like, especially after everything that's happened.
I mean, yeah, it probably would have been on camera. So,
and exactly, I was like, what other place? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying it's the safest place, but I'm just saying, like, as far as a wallet is concerned, it's like, no, whatever. Good luck to that person. So then, funnily enough, we were getting the check for dinner, and I was just like, okay, I found the lost and found number. I was going to call them, and I got an email. It's lost wallet. And it said, hi, I think we found your wallet. Call me back at this number. Da, 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 da. I was floored. I showed everybody. I was like, look at this. I was like, this is God, everybody. They laughed at me, but I was like, for real. So I called the number. It's a security guard. I was like, it's either a killer or a security guard. So hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. So I went over, and he told me where to meet him. And he was like, I guess he didn't know even where I lost it. He was in a completely different building. Somebody must have turned it in. And then I looked in the way. He was like, you can look in there. I'm pretty sure everything's in there like you left it. And I was like, he didn't say like I left it. He's like, I'm pretty sure.
Sir.
And I was just thinking to myself, like, sure, of course it is. I didn't even think that somebody was going to take something. Like, it's so funny how my mindset. So then I did look in there because I was curious, like, how he found me. But I guess he probably just like Googled me and found my ID or whatever. It was hilarious. And I was like, you know what? That was God. And it gave me such a sense of gratitude. Like, because that could really ruin your month.
Yeah, right? Because of another kind of person would have just been like, oh my God, well, fuck it. I'm not going to dinner. We're not going to, whatever. And in the grand
or had an attitude.
Yeah, but in the grand scheme of things, what could you really do in that moment to change the situation other than wait? You know what I'm saying? If they were closing, you had to be like, okay, well, at least I could, put freeze on whatever I think is in there. And then in the morning, I'll get right back on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but it was nothing you could do, but like, it was up to you to choose kind of what mood you was going to be in or what vibe you were going to stay in. So, yeah, I mean, but that's how it is. Like, I would have felt the same way too. Like, it's got to either come back or somebody mailed me my license one time.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd already gotten another one, but
That's pretty cool. The thing about it is, like, I knew all of the alerts are on my phone. So anytime my credit cards are being used, I get a notification. So so I was just like, okay, nothing's gonna happen. Like, that's what I thought to myself. Nothing's gonna happen. Either I'm gonna find it or I won't. And I just put it like that, and I was just like, okay. And then it came right back, and I definitely believe it was God, but that's why I don't believe. So anyway, that's how my week was. It gave me a newfound sense of gratitude because it would have been a blower to have to remember everything that's in there. I didn't have to do that. So I'm just grateful. That's how life is going. You know what I'm saying? That's how it always goes for us. Like,
even when I might be in a struggle or what might appear to be a struggle to other people, bitch, I'm here. I'm smiling, and I got everything that I need. So,
yep. Exactly. No,
it is what it is. I can't stress about certain things. I just gotta change what I don't like and go on from there. So,
and there's no time limit on this. You know what I'm saying? It's you're doing great.
Well, we want everything now. You know what I'm saying? But I know that's not how it's supposed to be. So whatever.
What'd you say?
I said, yeah, we want everything now, but I know that's not how it's supposed to be. But
for sure.
But I did, before we go into the show thing, I did decide I made a decision to do something, and I was like, it didn't make sense to actually do it, to be honest. But after I made the decision, I was like, well, why not? Just go see. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, okay. And so I have something that I'm going to go do that seems totally out of place for what I feel like I should be doing right now. But I'm going to go see. And I'll tell you about it later. I'm going to go see what happens because I kind of could see. You know how stuff happens to you in life and you remember how you felt during that period of time?
Yeah.
I feel like that about what I was when I first moved here. Like when I remember I was looking at this place and I was like, if we live there, then we'll be close to this, we'll be close to that, and 5 minutes away from this. But it was out of reach at the time, for real. It was just like, oh, that would be nice. But I was like talking to your mother. She was like, you should go see. And then I went to go see, and they was like, yeah, come on. And then been here ever since. So I have another moment where I feel like that about somewhere. So I'm like, I'm about to go see. So we'll see.
Yeah, just see, because the door will open for you. You know what I'm saying? If it's meant to be, it's like there's so many places. There's so many things that we decide, right, like are going to work out this way or that way, like,
and you don't even know. You
don't even know. And then for those people who don't go see it, that's a definite answer, right? That's like fact, you never tried.
You told yourself no, so yeah.
Yep, you cut it off. So anyway, that was great. Thanks for listening to our rant, everyone. This week we are actually going to be delving back into Love and Marriage DC. And we're going to talk about Ready to Love also, because Ready to Love also had and I couldn't remember whether I saw the last episode of that, but there's plenty to talk about. I think I did. I think that's the one where they met the exes. I think that's the one, but maybe not.
One long week. Let me. I think I'm
about to look this up right now. But while we're talking about, while I'm looking this up, tell me what you just saw on Love and Marriage, where you started.
So I was about to watch the latest episode of Love and Marriage, and it's the one. So the part I got to, I didn't get. I think I got halfway through it or whatever. Hold on, let me go look at this real quick. Let me get this. Ouch, because I took some notes like an old person.
No, that's good. I really need to start taking notes because I'd be all over the place.
Okay. All right. So for this episode, they were at Ashley's little event. Say that shit or and what they were asking, Raina was asking why Winter was there. You know what I'm saying? And I told you last week, I was like, she was in a love situation at first, but I really think looking at this episode, at least this is how I was feeling when I started looking at this episode. She is just like, look, this is the opportunity for all of us to get a bag. Let me just get the bag. Like, can we just be in the same room? And this is what I was hearing. She didn't say this, but I was like, look, just let me get my bag too. Yeah, I'm not married or whatever. Y'all don't like me, but listen, can we just exist so that we can all get the bag? That's what I was seeing from her. And she just trying to, and then the shocker was she let them hear the Gutter Barbie song and it wasn't negative. So
that is a shocker.
I was shocked about that. But then, you know, like she has said before, Black don't make music like that. So that kind of was interesting to me because I was like, yeah, I want to hear what music she was talking about then if he don't make music like that. But so that was kind of shocking. And it kind of, you know, it kind of shows Winter is not such a bad person, even though she came up with the name. But come to find out, she wants to be a Gutter Barbie.
Yeah, so she spun it and made it something positive, which is great.
Yeah, and then the other thing was Joy and Clifton got together to talk, and they met Carmen from Ready to Love from their season of Ready to Love 2 at Carolina Kitchen, which I love Carolina Kitchen's food.
Yes.
And then Quick and Jamie and Little Jamie and Quick's son were all talking. And Little Jamie's working with Trouble Youth now. Hey, Buttercup.
I thought that was cool. Yeah, look at this one over here.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And
I thought that was great. Okay.
I like the fact that he planned a coat drive. You know what I'm saying? He got to be able to see that you really sweet. You know what I mean? Well, you might think that you are struggling and going through hard times, young man. There are people who are, you know, who don't have it as good. And so sometimes, you know, they have to see that. So I'm glad he got to do that. And then he got the inkling to do a coat drive. He could do stuff like that, you know, all the time or whatever to give back. And then where I stopped at was when Winter was on Sherelle and Black's podcast and they introduced her to the dude or whatever. I was like, okay. So yeah, I like their podcast anyway, though. I like their podcast. Oh, yeah. And the last thing I want to say, because I didn't finish the episode yet, is they had Drinks Fizzy on the table, the smoothies. That is a local Black-owned, what do I want to call them? Because they have food and they have like smoothies. Smoothies are all named after different areas. Like they got the Bowie, they got the Greenbelt, they got the Oxon Hill, and it's all different flavors or whatever. But yeah, shout out to Drinks Fizzy. If y'all want to follow them on Instagram, it is Drinks Fizzy, Spizzy. Let me make sure.
I'm just bringing up their website right now. We can really look at it.
Yes, and so he went to Oxon Hill, so you might know him too.
The guy?
Yeah, the owner. He went to
owner.
Oxon Hill, and I believe he was actually the principal for sometime like recently or whatever before he started his business. But yeah, so that is Drink Spizzy. I'm gonna put it in the chat. Definitely check them out if y'all are in the Maryland area. I think they have more than one location now, but definitely check them out. But shout out to them because you know that was perfect product placement on Love and Marriage DC. That's what I'm loving, that you know they're putting people that are in the city on by you know patronizing their businesses and just you know showing up there or whatever. So yeah, but you need to look into that because you probably know him. Because he is younger than me. I used to work with his brother, too. Craig knows his brother, too. So.
This is their website, guys. Allentown Way and Crane Highway.
Yep, they just opened up that second location. So drinks are good. The food is good. And one of the things that he does that I really, really love is that every year he takes his employees on an all-expense-paid trip to Jamaica.
Ooh,
for nice. I think it's like a week. But they close the shop. And they go. And I was like, that is the kind of company that I would want to work for. So
this right here is making me want to go there immediately.
You have to go. I'm telling you, you know him. You're gonna be like, oh.
I'm gonna look into it. So yeah, that's that. All right. Let's go back to talking about what you said just now. Oh, actually, that's not even the right show. Okay. Hold on. I'm watching. So anyway, yes. Okay, let's start with Winter. Absolutely. I like the fact that she's not, you know, taking the Gutter Barbie thing to the gutter. That's great. And I never meant to say that she was a horrible person or whatever like that, but I just couldn't understand. And it's so funny. They have it right here on the website. I couldn't understand why she's there. But this is why, this is the thing that Ashley or that Irena said at Ashley's event, like, why is Winter here? That's why they have that.
Yeah, no, and I totally agree with that because, like, I just say that, she technically was kind of included, but I think that she's annoying, and that is why people will keep asking why she's there because, having all these get-togethers and having a person around that is always kind of stuck in some of the confusion. It's like, why is she here? So I definitely get that. But I just get the feeling that she just is like, please, y'all, let me get my bag. Please, just please.
Yeah, because, like, let's not get caught up in the distraction of, like, being against each other, and let's
I think she knows she could be a little, like, irritating, too.
Like, these types of shows are great for that type of thing. Like, this is what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to promote you. I love
the fact I'm being irritating. I don't know.
I love the fact that Clifton has a beard oil. Like, that's what people are supposed to be doing. And apparently Carmen is helping with that. I was glad to see Carmen too. Mm-hmm. Because I realized, like, I don't think that the couple that she was in was like one of my favorite couples. But, like, I didn't think they would make it. Which, it's neither here nor there. But I liked both of them, and I like to see her in this capacity with them. I think that's cool that they created a friendship.
And I feel like she was asking all the right questions. Having been on TV and a part of the show, she knew what kind of questions to ask or whatever. Because I do see, people with strong personalities. A lot of people with strong personalities, they can't hang tight a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? If they're not already friends, like, you're mixing all of these different personalities from different things because everybody's trying to make a move, right? But but like Joy and Ashley and Sherelle, they all have strong, blunt personalities, and so I understand why she's bumping heads with Sherelle, whatever, and I understand how she's cool with Irena, but, like, she was right. That's her only, like, kind of friend in that situation. But back to Carmen. Carmen was asking all the right questions about, kind of to get, like, a little juice in the situation, like, who wants to be the top bitch? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, no, it was true. It's a real question, and it's so crazy because, when you're going through something like that, or when you're a part of the mix, you don't really think about it like that. But that is actually what's happening. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like it's not like a fight or anything like that, but people are sort of just being themselves in a room, and it's all about, like, who can mesh with who. It's except for it's not a room, it's a show. So people are trying to, advance or, like, assert themselves and show what they want to show. But yeah, it's interesting.
And I mean, Sherelle is a personality in her. Like, I love their podcast, and Ashley is also a personality. You know what I mean? Like, I knew, like, once Ashley was on, like, when the world was introduced to Ashley on Love and Marriage DC last year, it was like, oh my gosh, she's so blunt. She's this, she's that, whatever. She's just being her. But when I found out Sherelle was going to be in there, I was like, oh Lord. I was like, because
how's this going to work?
I knew she was going to rub some people the wrong way because she's just one of the other strong personalities. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people just bring that strong personality.
Well, I'm glad it's not her and Ashley rubbing the wrong way. And I feel like her and Joy could have really gotten into it. However, Joy was just, like, really...
I mean, that situation is
taking the, like, the side road.
It's just the positioning of it. Because if you have,
go ahead, sorry.
Like, if you have, your friend Jennifer, for instance, right? If Jennifer told you that somebody was a side chick while she was messing with somebody or whatever, you're not really ever gonna be wanting to see it for that person. You're gonna be like, oh, fuck her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just because on the strength of your friend, but then add to that, if there's some type of, if you left the situation feeling shady, you're shady and whoever you mess with shady. So I can see how Joy would feel on that, on the business tip or whatever. And I mean, but I don't know if that's gonna, I don't know if I see that changing. You know what I'm saying? Because
but if they could just get past that, then it could be something later down the line. Like if you could just agree that, like, not you, but if they could just agree that, like, this happened in the past, I didn't like it, you don't, have any feelings about it, whatever, but like here we are now.
Yeah,
Let's
but
move
I
on
think
from here.
that
However, I'm not gonna forget who I feel like you are.
that
But we
black
can be
thing has
cordial.
to be worked out before they can move past it. Because if you
Oh,
got a
for
problem
sure.
with their husband, you got a
For
problem with
sure.
her. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And then, so let me just say this too, because I think that they talked a little bit about that situation where her and Arena got into it at that event, and it was like, Sherelle was like, she should have used the words that Joy said. Joy said she didn't say shady, but the words that she used describe shady. So it's an element of, one, that was the wrong place in the wrong time or whatever. And if I don't know how her and Arena got to having it out, because she approached Arena and was like, Joy said she didn't say that. Well, yeah, that just wasn't the right place to have that conversation or whatever. But it's just, I feel like this. In a perfect world, Joy would have told her, right? Nah, I don't mess with you like that, whatever. But the dynamics of the situation, it's like, it's better for me to just be over here and whatever. And she told Arena what she told her and didn't expect it to probably go where it went. You know what I mean? So I don't think she's interested in being, I don't know. I think that the dynamics of whatever sour taste is left in her mouth about it, she's not interested in making things, cool with Sherelle. But I will also say this too, because of the way that Sherelle says she's gonna operate, as far as like, whatever made Ashley say that she wasn't a good friend to Ashley. Whatever made Arena say she wasn't a good friend, that Arena whatever made Arena say that Sherelle wasn't being a good friend to Ashley is what's going to keep her from connecting with the other girls. Because, either you're going to be this way, right? And you're going to be this way with everybody, or you're going to pick and choose who you mess with. Like, in the Winter thing is just clouding everything. So anybody that's cool with Winter, like for real, I'm cool with her too, is just going to get the side eye, because we know that Winter's just kind of trying to get her bag. You know what I'm saying? And they don't really mesh. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I get where Joy's coming from, as far as like, and I get how they all feel about Winter, but like, they do have to learn how to be cordial, since they all are working,
Yeah, if they're all together in a room, which I guess is going to happen, right? They should have some sort of like,
let Winter get her bag, y'all.
Rapport.
Let Winter get her bag. We'll
listen. I mean, now she's got a little love interest, so we'll see how that works out. I did appreciate that. That was a good episode, right? Like, she was open to it. They were kind of flirty or whatever. It looked like they were kind of flirty, so that was cute to see or whatever. But maybe when she gets into something, then she won't be.
She could be less messy, less
yeah.
busybody.
And I thought it was, what? I can't remember exactly what it was, but I remember that he asked some good questions. He was like, because they were talking about divorce, or they were talking about ending old relationships, and he said something about like, how are you, like, who, the person you were then versus the person you are now, like, what did you learn about yourself, or something like that. Whatever he asked, I thought was a really good question. I was like, yeah, how you gonna answer this? So if they were able to connect, I think that's dope.
He was cute too, and I don't know whether she's short or he real tall, but I love their podcast.
She seems short to me,
and I love their podcast, and we'll see how it plays out. Maybe she will change after she get a man, because it's probably hard to be around all those women and you don't have going on what they have going on. So, hopefully she, doesn't, I don't know, man. Cause if she's able to be annoying to the women, I don't know. We'll see what happens. She's a charmer though. So I can see her being, she was like, oh, okay. So, okay. I don't know. We'll see.
Now, another thing that happened was Arena had her hair show, which I thought was really cute. I thought that was cool that she was able to pull that off. She was nervous about it, but it went well. And I just thought that was really cool. And yes, to get to that point about Lil Jamie helping out with the youth, I think that's dope, because it's something he's passionate about. He was like, day 3, he had a co-drive. I'm like, yes. a lot of times that's all somebody needs is to just be passionate about something. And so that seems like something that he can really get into.
And he got a lot of connections to make stuff happen for people. So, that I can see that being something that he do, because people who are in the situation are gonna have more respect for a person who kind of looks like them or whatever. Even though he don't come from their situation, he has a relatable look to them and a relatable personality, and he wants to help. Like you said, passion is gonna drive that. So I was happy to see that, because I could tell Jamie was proud of it. He was like, "Yeah, him a little bit." I was like, "Okay."
He even said, "Let me brag on." Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He brought that up. I thought that was cool. Now, what did you think about? Oh, maybe you haven't got to that point yet. I won't even talk about that. Never mind. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, because I didn't get past the part where they were talking. On the podcast part? I can't remember. I got to go back and look. But
I appreciate Lil Jamie saying, I appreciate Lil Jamie coming and saying something to Quicksilver's son and being like, "Yeah, I was your age when I started to get, wrapped up in other things. So this is the time." You know what I'm saying? Like I thought that was
cool. So easy. It's not hard at all.
So easy. It's fun too. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like
this air of invincibility when you're young. You think, whatever you're doing, you don't think whatever's gonna happen to you, you don't think you're gonna get caught. So it's like, for him to, and he probably takes it a lot different coming from Jamie than the parents, because the parents are always saying stuff or whatever. Oh, and that's what else I want to talk about. Waking your child up in the morning. Now, that's what
I wanted to talk about, but I wasn't sure if that was, you had seen that yet.
I'm just going to chime in on this, because I definitely had to deal with this, right? And the way that I look at it is, whoever is in my household, whether it's my son or not, if I know that you got to be up somewhere and you might be late or whatever because I'm going to wake you up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really understand. Like, yeah, at a certain time, it's time for you to start waking yourself up. And some people learn it more than others. You know what I'm saying? Or quicker than others. They learn it and they start doing it. And I'm going to tell you, I woke your nephew up all the way till he was a senior in high school. Now, did I have to do it every day? No, because most days he was already on it. But if I'm up and I know he's supposed to be up, I'm going to wake him up. You know what I'm saying? And I'll just tell a little short story about somebody who I used to know, or somebody that I know, that we lived together at one point. And I was, first of all, I'm a hard sleeper, and I don't rely on anybody to wake me up. But if you're up already, right, and you know that I'm supposed to be up, but I'm not up, wake me the fuck up. Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't do that, because at this point you just want to see the person fail, because they're not sitting there playing sleep, they're actually sleep. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, help me out a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
I think where that comes from, because I've been in that position too, where it comes from, there's a bit of animosity. And I know for me, when I was in that position, I gotta wake this person up again, it made me irritated with them. And I remember thinking, like, I'm not your alarm clock, but I still did it anyway.
It also depends on who the person is. But my thing is, yes, I do get that. And yeah, no, I don't want nobody to think that, oh, you can sleep and then I'm gonna wake you up. But just thinking about how calculated you gotta be to just do nothing and be like, and then you kind of got like, oh well, I bet you they was this and that, and in the grand scheme of things, it probably wasn't the end of the world, but it's just like, it shows more about, like for my situation, the person had to, they tiptoed around in the dark to get dressed. They went far and beyond not to wake me up, right? And so that's my point. It's like, okay, why are you doing that? Because
why are you doing all of that?
Like, because even if I did oversleep or whatever, my life's still going to be the same, because for you know what I'm saying? But I don't know. But as far as, I just think that it's just like a courtesy thing if you're already up. Now, if you got to wake up to do it, then that's different. Like, don't go out of your way. But if you're already going to be up making noise anyway, just be like, hey, da-da-da. Anyway, that's just my personal pet peeve. But for my child, I definitely did it until he was in high school, and he turned out fine. Now he's on campus and he wakes himself up, or he sleeps in and misses his classes. But that's on him now. You know what I'm saying? But I just couldn't not wake him up knowing that, I don't know. Like, people are asleep, they're fucking sleep. They're not just like, oh, all of the time. It's not like, oh, I'm just gonna lay here or I need to go to bed earlier. It's just it happens. You know what I'm saying? But that's just my
I'll
two
say
cents.
this. I think, everybody parents differently, and I'm not trying to shit on Quicksilver's parenting skills, but I have to side with Ashley on this because, it's your responsibility as a parent, especially when your kids are still minors and it's the law that they show up in school. It's like, why would I sit there and allow him to be late, knowing that I could have woken him up? Now he's going to have a rushed or not more like most successful day. So, as a parent of someone who is a minor, I do think it's your responsibility ultimately to make sure that they're being responsible. So, if they're not being responsible and then you're making them be responsible, that's just what it is, and I get it. And like I said, not trying to talk about anybody's parenting skills, because I'm sure DJ Quicksilver had a lot of, he had a different environment growing up. So I'm sure he had to do a lot of things for himself, but that's not the life you're providing for your children. And so I think that's one of the misconceptions when parents, when you do better for your kids and you put them in an environment where they have everything you didn't have, that doesn't get taken in consideration somehow. It's just like, you have everything I didn't have. Why don't you know everything I know? Because I have everything you didn't have. Right. And so it's like, it's true. Not a dig, it's more of like an homage, really. But I get how that can be frustrating also. But I think Ashley's between a rock and a hard place. It's not really that much, because it's just like, look, that's my son, I'm waking him up.
I mean, okay, so now that you pointed out the fact of, you mentioned, you don't want that person to have a rush day. Now, my style of parenting has always been, if I don't have to cause extra stress for my child, I'm not going to cause extra stress for him. You know what I'm saying? And what that means to me is, if I can, help him to get to where he needs to go on time while teaching him, this is how you do it, just in case I oversleep. You know what I'm saying? Because there were times where I didn't have to wake him up. But, my whole thought was throughout parenting him is that I want to cause the least amount of mental damage that I can, which means that like even this morning when I called to rag on him about this DoorDash thing, I wasn't calling him to fuss him out or to make him feel bad. You know what I'm saying? We had a conversation and then it ended pretty funny, and then that was that or whatever. Then I just laughed about it. But I would never ever wake him up fussing him out, or I would never ever just let him oversleep and have 10 minutes to get ready, and then like I would never do that, just because I feel like I had control over it. I could have just woke him up and talked shit about waking him up or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But for me, it worked out fine. And yeah, he probably did have some days where he woke himself up, but I wasn't gonna just let him fail, if that makes sense. Not fail in school, but I wasn't gonna just be like, oh well, you was asleep, because what is if I just let him sleep, then that's gonna be like, oh, my mom just let me sleep, I got in trouble for being late or whatever. But now he's probably gonna inconvenience you again by you letting him oversleep. Now he can't catch the bus, or however he gets to school. Now he gotta, you gotta do it at a different time than if you would have just kept things on schedule. Like, I get what Quick is saying, and like he probably didn't get a certain amount of parenting that he's watching him get, and it makes him feel like it's a soft thing. But it's some things, it's just like, to me, it's just like non-negotiable. I'm gonna give you everything you need to set you up for success, and then you have to figure out what you're gonna do with that. Like when he went to school, he had to figure out, mommy's not gonna be there to wake you up, so you got to figure that shit out. I'm sure he missed classes, I'm sure he was late, I'm sure but he worked it out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I wouldn't. I don't know. I just think I'm with Ashley on this. Team Ashley on this one. You know what I mean?
Same. It's just the way it's got to be for a little while, and he's not, I get where Quicksilver comes from also, because he's probably also looking at little Jamie and thinking like, this is how.
I think he's really.
But it's just sometimes he might be overthinking things, and he's 15 or whatever, 16 if he is, and he doesn't want to get out of bed because I'm a growing teenager and I don't want to get out of bed and I don't want to go to school. That's just what it is. Anyway, okay. On to, I don't think Clifton and Joy really had that much going on in this episode. I might be wrong about that. They met with Carmen. I will say this though. Clifton probably, if I were him, he probably feels some sort of way just because he's on the outside of like sort of like the issues that the women are having, and he wants to support, Joy or whatever, but it's kind of like he can't really help in this situation, which is why I was glad Carmen was there to sort of like talk the way through like what's happening on the cast, because Joy is experiencing something that's not normal with this. Plus I also feel like she's like more laid back than some of them, so she probably like, okay, here was another thing that I wanted to talk about last week. It's so funny how people say things and they don't really listen to themselves when they're talking. So they're sitting there and they're talking about Joy getting pregnant and, oh, can't wait too late, or you need to do this, or you need to do that. And it's just like, guys, I know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm aware of how children are made. I'm aware of my age. Like, also, there's got to be a little bit of like God in this, because like you can't just make a baby on demand type of thing. Mm-hmm. But we're fine. We're gonna go ahead and we know what we're doing. So like just chill. So
I was able to get dressed today all by myself without your fucking help.
And I know people mean well, but that happens to me too. When people are like telling you, the sky is blue and gravity is real, and you're like, guys, I understand how this thing works. You know what I'm saying? But she took it graciously, and so I could appreciate that. And I think, all in all, I'm looking forward to the next episode. James is telling me about something at the end of this episode that I missed, which was, which I was like, I'll just go back and catch it later because I kind of fell asleep because I'm an old person. But I'm enjoying this cast. I'm enjoying everything that everybody's doing. And so I can't wait to see the next.
Yeah, I like the cast. And I'm glad that I don't think Monique fits into this group. So I am glad that she went ahead and just did whatever, but we needed her to be the catalyst to start it. And I think that, it's going to do nothing but get better, because it's the people that are on here.
Can you imagine Monique and Sherelle in the same? No.
The people that are on here that are from DC are dope. So they're going to do nothing but introduce everybody to more dope people, the businesses, the people that they get to network with and stuff like that. Like, the most of the clothes that they wear when they're casual are local, entrepreneurs, and the places that they're eating and stuff at. Like, those are like, showing
the flavor and how we do things around here. And that is tight. I really appreciate that. So,
yeah. All right. So really, really quick though. Okay. We finished talking about that.
Yep.
I had a question for you. Did you watch the Chris Rock joke?
I did not. Okay, because I wanted to talk a little bit about that too, but you tell me about it, because I have some thoughts from the sidelines.
I didn't watch it at first because when it was coming on, it was like I was in a bedroom and I was like, oh, well, I'll just watch on this TV. But it was like, you can't watch this Netflix stream. This TV's not set up for that. I'm like, what the fuck? It was like, use a newer device. And I was like, well, I'm not getting up out the bed right now to go into the living room. So I was like, I'll just wait. So I ended up watching it the other day. And I have to say, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. Now, I have to also say that I am not a Chris Rock fan. I don't think that Chris Rock is funny. I think he has funny moments from time to time. But I've always looked at him as corny. But I thought the special was good. Now, I don't know if that means I'm just getting older, but I feel like it was good. I feel like he does a great job weaving, things that happen in real life, into his jokes. And, I thought it was good. He had a joke about the Kardashians in there that I actually laughed. I did like a bust out laughing in the kitchen on that joke because of the way he set it up. And, I got to give him his props on this. I feel like he won in this situation because he acted the most mature and he made money off of his pain. So Will just looks even dumber at this point. So
really?
I mean, this is why I say
I haven't seen it.
This is why I say that. He looks dumber if he is still trying to act like all sad about doing whatever he did. At this point, he needs to just be like, you know what? You got that one. All right. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he comes out and says anything like, he's hurt or whatever, like, I'm just not going to be able to respect that.
Cheryl Underwood was on, the cast of The Talk was on CBS this morning, and Gayle King interviewed them. And Cheryl Underwood talked about Chris Rock's special, and Gayle ended up saying something like, yeah, I think the Smiths just need to go ahead and like let this go and not say anything else about it. And I didn't understand what she meant, but maybe that's what you're saying too.
You have to watch it because, like I said, the overall thing that I noticed about this is that, okay, this happened a year ago, and I can't believe it's only been a year. It seems like it was, I don't know. On one hand, it seemed like it was more recent, and on the other hand, it seemed like it was so long ago. But I don't know how that's happening. But he had a moment where he got pissed. He walked all the way up there on the stage to do what he did, and walked off, and it just looked bad. And the more Chris Rock didn't say anything about it or retaliate, it looked worse. And then when people started going back to like replay the whole scene where you could see Will, Lupita, and Jada, she did have a visceral reaction by rolling her eyes and squishing up her face that Lupita and Will did not have. They were thoroughly in the laugh. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I you cannot tell me that she did not feel some type of way and that that's not why he did it, because, along with just all of the other things where she's trying to film him on camera when he doesn't want to be filmed. And she just, the way you have to watch it, because the way that he broke it down, I'm not going to tell you what he says. I'm not using anything that he said because I want you to get it like I got it. The way that he broke it down is just like, okay.
So he went into depth about it.
Not really, but kind of. Like, the bottom line is this. Something happened, like you got slapped and on national TV or whatever, and you have to make a decision. What are you going to do? Are you going to drop your standards or your morals on however you were raised and just do whatever the flesh wants to do in the moment? Or are you going to sit back and think about how you can make this work for you? And Chris Rock figured out how he can make it work for him. And he did that. And a lot of people were talking about this $40 billion deal that he had with Netflix. Well, this was the second installment of that $40 billion contract. He had already done whatever his other stand-up was before that. So this was just the second part that he owed. But I thought it was good. I didn't want to like it because I don't think Chris Rock is funny. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't want to like it.
But I was like, okay. I gotta give him his props. Because, like I said, in this situation, if he would have retaliated and like did something back, it would have just been both of them brawled. Now it just looks like, you walked in here and you did something you shouldn't have, and now you gotta pay for it, kind of,
Yeah.
So it was a grown-up move, I would say, you know what I'm saying? And I thought the special was good.
All right, I'm gonna have to go watch it. I wasn't planning on it, but now that you've said that, I'm gonna watch it. And I would like to think I'm a Chris Rock fan. It's not like I go and I buy tickets wherever he comes to town, but I like to think I'm a Chris Rock fan. On top of the fact that we share the same exact birthday.
Okay, that's right.
But I always thought he was funny, and we watched.
Well, I'm not saying he wasn't funny, but when I think, okay, I want to laugh. What's my, one of my favorite comedians?
This could be like Cat Williams or
Dave Chappelle. Got that spot. I love Cat Williams. Who else do I like that I feel like can do no wrong on the stage when they're telling jokes? Dave Chappelle's the only one that I feel like that about, but I don't know, but I never just was like, you know what? I'm about to watch some Chris Rock right now. It would just be like, oh, something.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I feel you on that. I'll even watch Kevin Hart, who I don't think Kevin Hart is like the funniest person ever, but I enjoy him. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But like Martin, I watch Martin.
Okay, Martin.
Yeah. So there's a few like Corey Holcomb, as controversial as he could be. Mm-hmm. I really do enjoy like seeing. He's pretty hilarious.
I watch his.
There's a bunch of people. That's where we were going with this, but yeah, now I'm gonna have to watch it because I definitely felt like I was like, this moment is over. I'm not gonna watch this because
everybody was wanting to know what this Bama had to say because he didn't say, nigga, he got punched in the face or smacked, open hand slapped, which is worse. He got slapped on national TV and he did not get to retaliate. He did not say anything. He didn't do no damn interviews. Like, I just have to give the man his props on how he handled it. He handled it in the most business-like manner that I've ever seen, in my opinion. I can't even lie about it. Like I said, you just have to watch it. Like I said, I'm not a Chris Rock fan. I don't think that he's like unfunny, but that was good. It was good. It was really good. It was good. I gotta give it some.
All right, so you got me. I'm gonna watch it.
At least give it a watch. You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't mean it's that not even like a stretch. I like Chris Rock. I do.
Yeah, he doesn't mean that anything, but I think that if I was willing him, I would just move on. Just move on. Do something else. Just let it go.
Yeah.
That's all I would say.
All right, I'm gonna watch it, and I'll have more to report back on. All right, now let's talk about this. I cannot remember. I think the last time we met. Okay, so I do think I saw the last episode now. Because the last time we met, we said that there was no Ready to Love episode because they had the 100th episode, right?
Yes.
So the last episode was the one I saw. I did not remember Blue getting voted off though.
I think Blue just got voted off. So I think. Wait, let me look at my notes real quick.
Maybe there have been 2 episodes and I saw one. Because I do remember the guys meeting the women's exes. And let me just say this. Okay, so first of all, before we move on to that, Donna D says, someone said Chris got 20 million and some people said he got 40 million. Which one was it?
So I read that it was a deal for a multi-show. So it was a $40 billion deal that he had to do 2 parts to, from how I understood it. And whatever his last, the name of his last stand-up was, it was on Netflix. It was the first one, and this was the second one, but this was the first live stream event that they did. So hold on, let me look real quick because I remember reading that when I was looking it up because I was like, why do they keep saying that? I gotta find it.
Okay, yeah. While you're doing that,
what I'm understanding, it's a $40 billion deal with, and he had to do 2 installments.
40 million, not billion.
I mean, 40 billion. Okay, now I gotta look it up. Let's circle back to that. I'm about to look it up.
All right, cool. It's gotta be million because he ain't a billionaire. But and comedy ain't worth no billions.
Yeah, like, I don't know why I was saying
billions.
Why I was saying billion. So okay, in 2016. Netflix paid a reported $40 million for 2 Chris Rock stand-up specials. And so the first one was, I watched that one too, and I can't see.
I didn't see that one, but I know what you're talking about. I know what you're about to say. I'm psychic. I remember that stand-up because I didn't watch it, but I remember some of the things that came out of that. He was talking about like marriage and how are like relationships, like you know, being selfish and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. And so it was crazy the way they did it too because it aired on a Saturday night which Saturday Night Live airs on Saturday night. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it was interesting that he was just waiting for the rest of his, I guess, $40 million to when he did the second thing, but it was their first live stream event, so. That's probably what was real crazy. I want to see the numbers on how many people tuned in. He filmed the show. He filmed the show.
Everyone who's never been slapped, watch that special.
He filmed the show in Baltimore. So that was probably, really it probably wasn't a diverse crowd. It probably was, all of our people. It was packed. It looked like it was packed, but yeah, so I don't know. Like I said, if you're thinking about it from an adult standpoint, Chris Rock handled it very appropriately because, I mean, I'm pretty sure he was thinking, how am I going to get everybody to look at my next, my second installments of the special? And then that brings me to, like, it still could all be a plan.
I don't think so. This is a very elaborate plan. I am not.
Oh my God.
I don't think anybody's that important to do all of this. And then so many things would have had to go exactly the way you wanted them to. I don't think it was an elaborate plan like that. I literally.
No, I'm talking about like as it got closer, right? For him to have to deliver on this last installment to Netflix, he needed to get everybody's attention so that they could like, buy the tickets.
He wasn't doing so bad. He could have figured that out another way. He wasn't doing so bad. He wasn't.
I mean, the only reason I say that is because, it just seems so wild for him to have been slapped on national TV. I don't know.
It seems like like you're being punked or something. So I understand where you're coming from, but I really don't think that was planned because it was so bad on so many sides. Like to be embarrassed like that, and he wasn't like out. And here's what I would have thought: if he would have been a part of that, I'm talking about Chris Rock right now. He would have been immediately taking advantage of it as soon as it happened. Like, yeah, I can't believe this happened.
I doubt it though, because if you know how social media goes and how things are moving through these through the media sites and stuff, right? You have a bit like I said, this is just thoroughly just me having fun with this for shits and giggles, okay, guys? But you have a plan, like, okay, I need this launch of this has to be good. I need to have everybody's attention, and I don't want it prematurely. I don't want to have a show and then you all come to the show and then you don't tune into the special. I need the build up. So, it's not impossible to believe that it could be some type of like, because like I said, all these people get paid to pretend. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man.
Yeah, they do. They get paid to act. So it is, it is. Why am I not seeing that?
What?
Sorry.
Oh,
I see what you're saying. I didn't see it on my stream, but I see it. Go ahead. Yeah.
They should have taken Will out of the venue after the slap, especially after the foul words after he sat down. They should have arrested him for assault when they realized it wasn't a prank. It was such a bad example for the young people watching. They allowed Will to accept an award after the slap, no consequences. Now, I'm gonna give you the floor, but I do want to say something to that because, that is what makes me feel like, I don't know, living in this world long enough will have you being like, is everybody hoodwinking us? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
And like that's why exactly what she said. What would have happened to a regular person who would have did some shit like that out in public? You know what I'm saying?
We saw that. Who was that person that tried to rush the stage when Dave Chappelle was up there and they beat him?
Okay, see, that's what I'm saying, right? That's what I'm saying now. It is the Oscars or whatever, but like, and it was Will Smith. But that's why I could never ever just solidly say what happened, because for the longest time I was like, these Bamas set us up, and I mean, it's nothing we could do about it. Like, we just watching it on TV, and so now, like, what it is, it gives you something to talk about, and you don't see nothing else behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I mean, you can't. Somebody is willing to be like, I will be paid whatever amount that I choose. Like, yeah, if I'm gonna get this money, then I'll do whatever. And if that means that I got to take an ass whipping, all I got to do is be slapped, and this is what I'll get. Like, you want to believe that those people aren't that low morally, but some of the things that happen in the world are just that. They're things that didn't even happen like that, or aren't even what they present to be. But they know that if they put stuff out in the world, that the masses that watch, like, everything that's going on and believe everything they see on the news and stuff like that, those people are going to drive the narrative that needs to be driven. And then it's going to be a small minority of people that are over there like, I don't believe that shit. I don't believe that shit. Like, you guys believe that shit now? No. Chris Rock really got slapped. What I'm arguing is that who wouldn't know that he probably wouldn't fight him back? Like, I don't know. Now I feel crazy. So I got to stop there, because the bottom line is he came out on top of the situation to me, because Will looks crazy for having done that. on. It wasn't, it just he just looks crazy to me because you had to walk all the way up there. Jada didn't try to stop him. Like as soon as my boo get up, I'll be like, "Babe, what you doing? Hold up, what you doing? Where you going? You're not supposed to get up."
I don't know
at
if
this
he
point.
looks crazy. So this is pre me watching the special. So I'm glad we're having this sort of different perspective. And I understand what Donna D is saying about, he should have been taken out of the venue after the slap and the foul words and all of that. However, I think there's another side to it where, whether we want to admit it or not, it's yeah, it could have gotten ugly, Donna D. But the point is, like, that's not what happened because, people of a certain a sort of like, what do you want to say, class or a certain whatever, people, Will Smith is protected, right? Like it's just what it is. Like nobody's gonna really sit him down and say he wasn't taken out because they didn't know what to do. They were caught, right? Like they were caught.
But the crazy thing is how
they're like, do we do the thing that we normally would do? Because it's Will Smith. And that's how America thinks as a whole. Like, oh, but it's Will Smith. And insert any celebrity's name or any, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like rules can bend and break. But also, I have to go back to what I initially was thinking when the whole thing happened. And this is pre me watching Chris Rock, so I might have changed my whole thinking once I hear what he says. But at this point, last year, when I was thinking about this, it seemed like Chris Rock made a statement that was not well landed, and he got a reaction. And that can still happen in today's world. People can, with all the AI and all the things that we can do virtually in the metaverse and all the ordering we can do online and same day deliveries, you could still say something out of your mouth and get met with someone else's hand crossing your face. And I thought that was, so like, that's what I initially thought to myself. And like, oh, he got slapped. Like, I've seen this before. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe you should say that next time. Or, you know what I'm saying? But I don't agree with the thing that happened. I would have hated to have been the person that got slapped. I'm just saying that these things sometimes happen. Now, I think that it was unfortunate that it was two Black people that were involved in this. And I think that actually went all the way into it because, if things were different and Will Smith was a white person, that, things would have gotten all the way crazy. And he probably would have pressed charges. I think Chris Rock probably didn't press charges with Will Smith. I don't know that to be true, but I think he probably didn't press charges and he didn't make it as bad as it could have been for him. Even though it was everywhere and everybody was talking about it, I think it could have been worse if Chris Rock would have really stood up and said, this is wrong and I'm going to do something about it. But I think there was an idea there on his part that I don't really want to make it bigger because, first of all, it's embarrassing. And second of all, that's another Black man. So I don't know. So many layers to this.
I mean, yeah, but let's look at it in general terms. You know what I'm saying? In the real world, if you walk up to somebody and you slap them, one, you waiting for some type of response because you're not going to turn your back on the person that you just mollywopped or whatever. So
yeah,
that's one of the reasons, like I said, it's one of those things that I think about, the things that happen over and over, and then I get to the point of thinking that I'm losing it because I'm like, well, why would you slap somebody and then turn your back on them? You had to walk all the way up there. The person that's with you knows you, didn't even realize that you were going to go, didn't try to stop you. Like, that's why I'm just like, I don't know. But then I'm like, well, shit, if Chris took a slap for that, now, if that comes out, that kind of makes him look bad. But like I said, overall, the thing is, the person who throws the first punch usually loses the control with throwing that first punch. If you're not, like, if you're going to go up and fight somebody, you got to be ready for them to, you got to be ready to kind of defend at that point. And so because he went up there and hit Chris and he didn't do nothing back, that automatically just has him looking kind of out there because one, you're all dressed up, you were laughing, and then you walked all the way up there, right? Then you walked all the way back, and then you still had stuff to say, you know? So it was like, you don't really care then. You don't give a fuck. You don't give a fuck. We don't give a fuck. Fine. So now what I'm saying is you did what you did. You did your big one. You slapped Chris Rock. Okay. You don't get any points for that. It's not like it's somebody that people are scared of, right? That's number one. And number two, don't come out here talking about your hurt, about anything, because, you know, whatever it was that had you feeling like you had to go do that is the thing that you need to fix. Because
I hear that.
My whole thing is that's the reason why I say, and I still watch Will Smith stuff. Will Smith is Will Smith, but I just think that he should just go ahead and let this go because, you know, I feel like he has bigger issues to worry about, and I feel like, you know, you really can't do anything else. You tried to apologize, you know. At this point, you realize how wrong it was. Let's put some time in between.
And he's gonna have to just take the rest on the chin.
He's gonna have to, because like I said, I like the special. I feel like he made some good points, but you opened yourself up to these points that he made when you did that. Now, there's also something going around saying that that Chris Rock liked Jada, and that's why he's been ragging on her all this time, whatever. Like, to me, none of that stuff is here nor there, because you got a fucking person who is a comedian and they tell jokes for a living. They're gonna say some shit that, you know, probably strikes a lot of people's nerves, but I would think that he had ability to talk to him outside of that too. You know what I'm saying? And holler at him like that. Like, you could have definitely slapped him or pressed him out or choked him out at a private event. You know what I'm saying? But not on. You could have got away with all of that, but not on TV like that. It was just the way that he did it, and the reason why I feel like it makes Will look kind of like weak sauce is that we all know that, you know, it's something with him and Jada that
it's a little off. Yeah, we get it.
You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But I still watch.
We already knew that. And another thing that I thought was interesting, that I still have this book. He had just written a book, I think that year or the year before, and opened up about his insecurities. Mm-hmm. And I have to think that is completely not even like necessarily related, but it is the definition of someone playing into their insecurities, because I do remember what you were just saying earlier. When the joke was made and the camera was on Will, he was laughing. You know, he wasn't laughing uncontrollably, but he was like, you know, like giving the.
And I do think that he's used to doing that because he's a comedian. Like, he's used to putting on that front.
But here's the thing, it doesn't translate. If you're having a visceral reaction, that's not part of it. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you're actually, you know, having your moment where this is enough and I had to do something about it, then there would never have been a laugh.
See,
so there's something else going on there.
But I do think that, like, when we talked about this at first, there's a couple of people in the comments that said this too. Like, I think that Will Smith probably is used to laughing in public. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, but then he would have taken it all the way there. It's like, he's not bipolar. If you were upset, then it would have upset you immediately.
I think that he thought that they were just going to go, they were going to smile their way, cheese their way through this event like they probably have done many others. And who knows? Like, we'll never know the behind the scenes. What I know and what I saw, to me, I just feel like it didn't like call for that. And like I said, if they were at a private event and everybody was drinking and they were talking, like, I could see that happening. But
I guess that is a long walk.
It's a long walk, and you're dressed up, and you don't know what this man might do back to you. Like, that's why I'm just, every time I go through the
but I think what happened, though, I don't think he knew what he was gonna do when he got up there. I think
that's why I go through the events of what happened. He had plenty of time to like think the stuff out, and oh my god,
now let me say this. Now that we're here,
would you let your husband get up without you being like, "Hey, what are you doing? He's not supposed to be standing up right now. Right. You're not gonna move."
I would have gone up there and got him. I would have gone up there and got him. But she's not obviously about that life. Here's the thing that I realized too, is that initially, and I do stand by this, I think he got up he went up there. I don't think he knew what he was going to do. And then he got there and he did whatever, he felt like he had to do. But I do think it was based on her reaction. And I do also think that, it's unfortunate that she didn't stop him, because that was a long walk. And I don't think it was planned. I think he just did something stupid. I don't even really think it's like, oh.
But see, that's what I'm saying. The more I think about it or whatever, that's what makes me be like, how did all that have time to transpire?
I mean, it's,
but I mean, okay, go ahead.
Look, we're getting ready to let this go.
Yes, let's let it go. But I'm just saying, the more I go to the events, when something doesn't make sense, I'll be like, well, shit.
How did it work? How did that happen? And I think it was such a series of awkward events that there is no way that we could make sense of it.
It's just stupid. The whole thing is stupid that it happened. And like I said, unfortunately, we could come back and talk about it next week after you watch the special. But unfortunately,
we definitely have to.
I feel like, the way that I'm looking at it is I feel like, Chris just won because of the way that he handled it. He made money off of his pain. Like, to me, that just is the ultimate, like.
That's the win. That is the win. It's like you build a product based on your problem, right? Chris looked around after the slap like, y'all see this? Will slap the F out of me and y'all ain't gonna do nothing? Yeah, this is from Donna D. I agree.
I agree, man. I don't know, but
I gotta play the other side too, because I also could see how he just made a dumb decision, and it's unfortunate. I'm not taking Will Smith's side, but I could see how it happened.
And that's the other reason that pulls me. Maybe I held him higher. Maybe I held him higher on a pedestal, because once I start thinking about it, it's just like, nigga, you went up there and slapped Chris Rock. Why would you do that? Like that. Anyway.
So the question now is it too late for Chris to sue Will? I don't know what the statute of limitation is, but I'm pretty sure, like, listen, everybody saw it. So of course he could do something.
I mean, if he did, I don't think it's a prideful case.
I think it's a prideful thing too, right? Because it's so many layers to this. Number one, it's a man being slapped by another man not even just in public, but in front of the world,
in front of his daughter,
and in front of the whites. And the idea that, like, I'm gonna go and sue you, right?
It wouldn't be nothing for, like, Will would actually have to plead crazy.
So, but the deal with that is like, let's just pick that apart a little bit. That is not really, this is going to be so controversial. That's not really a Black response either, because like, that's not going to, number one, yeah, it might make you richer, but also you're saying, when you sue somebody for something like that, what you're saying is, all right, it's fine if you pay me, right? We'll settle this. I'll be okay with it if you give me money. And that is not Black. And here's why I'll say that. Because it's about respect. Like, sure, I could hurt your pockets real quick if you could act like this to me. And that says one thing. But it also says, man to man, like, I'll allow you to slap me if you pay me. Or I'm okay with you slapping me if I get some of your money. And it's just not about money.
See, yeah, it's not just about money, but okay, so yeah, that isn't, I guess, the quote unquote Black response or whatever. But when you think about the damage that it does, having to pay somebody that you never planned on giving money to, it's kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna take the money for what I'm suing you for, because if you had never done this, then I wouldn't have the chance to do this. And so, like, imagine paying somebody that you never planned on giving any money to, thousands of dollars, maybe even $1 million, because he did not fight back. You walked up to him and smacked him while he was on the job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, but here's the thing, and then let me just be real petty now, okay? If I were Chris Rock, and I'm not sure that this is what he's doing, I'm just throwing this out there, guys. Chris Rock just got another $20 million, and Chris Rock ain't stupid. He got millions of dollars. He's not blowing through this money. He's got money, so money really isn't going to quench anything. I think he's going to play this out real slow and smart, and Will Smith is never going to forget that he did that to him. Right? I just feel like it's one of those things where, where like, oh, you mess with the wrong person and I'm going to show you. Now, that also takes a level of energy that I'm not sure, you know what I'm saying, that Chris Rock's willing to spend. But what I'm saying is this. It doesn't quench or sit right with me to take money from a person who slapped me when it's wrong on so many levels. And I got to show you why that was a bad decision. And it doesn't, and we're not just going to let this go when you pay me some money, because I got money. You know what I'm saying? I gotta prove my point to you.
And that's why
I would go.
And that's why I think
and we're the same birthday, guys.
And that's why I think Chris Rock won in this situation, because he did not sue Will. He did not try to get money from Will or whatever.
It's not about money. It's not about law. I think it's about respect.
You got to watch the show too. All
right, I'm going to go watch it. Anyway, okay, so we got all of on a tangent. We're like 90 minutes in the show, but we got to touch on this before we go. Okay, so this last show, I believe, is when, oh gosh, I didn't even see this last comment. Do we want to?
Oh, Chris could be doing it so that the young people who saw that will know that there are consequences for violence. That's true. And that, in my opinion, makes Will look even worse, because kids are supposed to be looking up to you with, you know, but you are doing stuff like this, and it's taking Chris Rock to show that this is how you handle certain things or whatever. Because truth be told, the fact that the thing happened is going to follow both of them for as long as it is, and it's going to go down in history how it was handled. This is what you do when somebody does this, but you got to watch the show, because to me, you know, only one person was thinking about their overall situation and family. That's what I'm taking away from the situation.
Here's the thing about that.
But his kids aren't going to hurt for anything because he has money. So
here's the thing about that statement. I'm about to bring that statement back up. He ain't doing this for no young people. Listen, I'm just going to say this. I don't know what he's doing it for. I'm just saying my thoughts. But violence has never been the issue here. You know, and I've already said this last year when we first covered it. Americans love violence. We're not against violence. We're not anti-violence. We love to watch the suspense shows. We love guns. We want to own guns. We want to watch boxing and MMA fighting and, you know, reality show beefs. We like fights, okay? Everything we do is about a fight in America. It's about who's the best team. It's about, you know, the kill, the win. So I don't think that people are against violence. And I don't think Chris is necessarily, what Chris is definitely against is somebody slapping him. Nobody wants to be slapped.
Listen, Faith, okay. It's just, this is all I'll say about it, and then we can move on. With age comes wisdom sometimes. And I think that Chris did a great job in looking at a bird's eye view of what he has to gain, what he could do, and maneuvered it in the right way that's going to work for everybody. Because at the end of the day, too, your family is also watching. You know what I'm saying? So however you decide to act is basically, if you care about those people, that's the decision that you make. And so it just, like I said, now I like the show. I like the stand-up. I think he handled it the best way out of the two. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, once you get to be over 40, like, you don't have any business. I don't want to see you slapping anybody anyway. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Unless I told you to slap his ass if he say my name. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm done with that. That's all I got to say. You know what I'm saying? Whatever.
Well, yeah. So I definitely feel like, so we're going to have to cover the other thing in the next show because we've gone so far into this. So now I definitely have to watch this, and I definitely, Chris doesn't have to let it go after he sues Will. I'm going to watch this, and we're going to come back and talk about this because there's so much more to be talked about. I mean, I like this is going to, you know, but like, honestly, this is not something that
Sorry, I'm all into Donna D's comments.
Yeah, we're gonna read the next comment. Go ahead and read the next comment, and then I'll close.
Okay, this is the first Oscars produced by Black people. That's right, because Will Packer was producing that. That was another thing. Like, why would you act up on this night? Chris didn't want to mar the production any further than it already was. He was being protective of their image as much as possible. Will didn't. Now you gotta watch the stand up, Faith.
I gotta watch the stand up. I feel like
it's not even about like now 20-year-old me might have been like, he should have slapped his ass back. You know what I'm saying? But as I get older, I don't know, like the best move is the best business move. And like I said, he must have sat down and talked with people and looked at it and thought about it and was like, you know what? How can I totally capitalize off this? Because yes, it was an unfortunate situation. I got slapped in front of my motherfucking daughters. Like he probably wanted him to hurt. His brothers probably wanted to fuck him up. You know what I'm saying? Because I think I saw Tony Rock talking somewhere.
Oh yeah, Tony Rock was pissed.
And you know how it is. If somebody does something to my sister,
yes,
yeah.
You know
what I'm saying? I'm not going to be trying to hear, you're going to take the high road. Is that what you're going to do? Okay,
right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Right, I'm going over there tonight.
He had all those conversations or whatever, and I'm telling you, like, that was the smartest way to handle the shit. Like, not even by doing any interviews. Nobody wants to hear over and over about what you were thinking when you're talking to these people. Like, they wanted to hear him say it in a show, and I feel like he delivered. I don't know. I'm gonna go around and look for opposing opinions to see why people didn't like it. But I thought that it was a great move. I did. So you gotta watch it.
I gotta go watch it. But yeah, it was the first Oscars produced by Black people. But I think it was a lot of layers to it. So when I watch it, we're gonna come back and we're gonna recap
and listen to it with an open mind. You know,
for sure.
You like Chris Rock anyway. Like I said, like you said, y'all got the same birthday or whatever. And you probably will get his humor a lot more than other people because y'all are both,
I'm probably going to take out a little more and delve into it. Yeah, so
I want to talk about it when we watch it. Okay, all right. So that's it for that, y'all. I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. This was a great podcast. Again, grateful that we covered this topic because this was like not random, but it was like on par. I definitely did want to talk about this, so I was glad you brought it up. But I didn't. We didn't have any prepared, thoughts or anything. So, but that was good. It was a good conversation, and I can't wait to continue it because it is something that's happening right now. And also, not only are we all witnessing it real time, we all have feelings about it, and we all are sort of invested in both of them. Like, this is Black culture, happening real time in a society, an industry that is led by white men, or really, white men and trans. So I feel like people should pay attention.
I mean, listen. Like I said, I like Will Smith. I like Chris Rock. When it happened, I was just so shocked because Craig is the one that messaged me, and he was like, he always messages me with something dumb, and he was like, Will Smith just slapped Chris Rock. I was like, would you get off my phone?
Get out of here! You making
and
stuff up.
I looked it up, and I said he really did.
That's gonna always be the funniest thing to me about this is that so few people saw it live. Like, we all just heard about it and went and watched it after.
Right.
Like, I wasn't watching it. Nobody was watching the Oscars. Come on, man.
I was shocked. But anyway, so okay. Look, to close out with Ready to Love. So Blue did go home. Motherfucking Blake stayed again. This motherfucker is still hanging in there.
Oh, we gotta talk about this next week because I have so much to say.
Okay. All right, so yeah, let's do that. Let's watch the next episode. Comes on tomorrow so next week we'll recap when they met the exes because that was the same episode.
Oh yes, I have so much to say. So we got to cover that in a whole.
We need a whole episode.
We're gonna be here for another 45 minutes.
Yes, but anyway, so thank you guys for riding along with us.
Thank you so much.
If you're catching the replay, definitely get in the comments if you disagree with what we said about anything.
Absolutely.
Definitely let us know in the comments. We like healthy dialogue. So we are going to be debuting a new channel that we will introduce to you guys next week. And so it's a lot of things happening and we're growing a little bit. So we want you guys to take part in that. So Over to you, sis.
Yes, I'm so glad to have been here. Thank you so much for our comment, like our co-stars, who are our commentators and the people in the chat. Y'all definitely be posing some really good questions.
Yeah, shout out to
some
Donna
really
D.
good
She the
comments.
MVP this week.
For sure. So I much appreciate it. And yeah, I don't have anything to say other than great show. And I have a great evening, ladies. I can't wait to see y'all next week.
Yes, so those two sisters signing out.